In the past few decades, we've seen many icy areas around the world begin to melt and wither away. There are many theories about what's causing this, the most common of which being global warming. However, there are other areas of the world that have remained largely intact and unexplored. For example, rainforests have remained densely packed with objects and information that has eluded mankind for centuries. In today's video, we'd like to show you several artifacts that were found in the rainforest that were completely unexpected. Some of these items have helped to solve mysteries, though others have created them. Be sure to stick around for number 2 because it's absolutely wild. Before we jump into it though, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos. Kimbaya Artifacts. The Kimbaya culture has nearly been forgotten to time. However, they remain relevant all these years later. The culture first arose during the 6th century BC. After the culture began to fade away, many of the members moved to Colombia, where they'd spend the rest of their lives. The final days of the Kimbaya people ended when Spanish troops invaded South America and began to claim it as their own. The members of this tribe were very progressive when compared to others in the area and around the world. The Kimbaya had perfected the art of creating decorations and jewelry out of gold. These works of art would often tie into their religious beliefs and were sometimes used to convey the afterlife or be given to those that had passed away. This is because the Kimbaya people, like many other cultures around the world, believed that death was not the end of human life. Rather, it was simply a transition into another form of existence. Aside from making beautiful works of art, the Kimbaya people also created small trinkets that to this day cannot be fully explained. This is because many of the trinkets they made look just like modern airplanes. This discovery left historians baffled for many centuries, and we still don't fully understand what these trinkets were created to represent. To make matters even more strange, a group of researchers decided to craft a large-scale version of one of these trinkets, only to find that it was able to remain in the air for an extended period of time, just like a modern aircraft. However, the airplane would not be invented until many centuries later. So what was this strange relic? Many people have begun to claim that the relic could be a symbol of an extraterrestrial object. For example, there have been many theories that claim that the world's first humans were frequently visited by extraterrestrials. If this is true, it's possible that they passed on some of their technology to us while they were still here. However, if this were the case, why has none of this technology been rediscovered in recent years? The truth is, we have no idea what these golden items could have actually been used for, and it's unlikely this mystery will ever be solved. Gigantic stone head. This artifact is remarkably bizarre, and its true meaning remains unexplained. More often than not, if an unusual piece of history is discovered in an area that's being excavated by historians, the artifacts are taken back to the safety of a labor college for further examination. However, that wasn't the case with this gigantic stone head that was found in the middle of a rainforest in Guatemala. Researchers were combing through the rainforest when they came across this large head. They had every intention to bring the head back to their base to learn more about it, but it was simply forgotten and left to waste away in the jungle. The head was originally discovered back in the 1950s. However, it would be the 1980s before the head was remembered, prompting another researcher to go back to its original location and recover the head for further examination. Oscar Rafael Padilla was the one to lead this new expedition to find the head once more. However, as soon as he arrived, he learned that the head had nearly been destroyed over that short period of time. As it would turn out, A team of Guatemalan resistance fighters had used the head as target practice. This did irreparable damage to the statue, much to the dismay of Oscar and other historians. However, there is a mystery behind this head that has never been solved. Most of the relics that have been recovered from this region of the world depict Hispanic-looking people who fit right in amongst the locals who would have lived there. However, this head shows the head of a Caucasian person. At this point, the locals would have known very little about their Caucasian brethren who lived on the other side of the world, if in fact they knew anything at all. So how is it that this head was created that shows the perfect representation of a Caucasian person? We don't know for sure. Since this group of people have long since passed away, it's unlikely this bizarre mystery will ever be solved. Glass frogs. Have you ever seen a strange animal that you simply couldn't understand or explain? Today we'll be taking a look at a very strange-looking frog, often called a glass frog. This strange creature earned its name because its underside is completely transparent. From the upper half, this may look like your ordinary frog. However, if you were to take a peek at the underside of its belly, you'd be shocked to find that you can see right into its tiny body. Taking a look at the frog, you'll be able to see its beating heart, lungs, digestive system, and even its eyes. While this may seem incredibly strange, these frogs have been around for thousands of years, though even after all this time, we don't really understand why their undersides are transparent. The most common theory is that this transparency helps them blend in with their environment, helping them to avoid predators. If they were to perch on top of a leaf or tree, the color of the plant would shine through them, making them appear to be almost invisible. If you ever find yourself in a rainforest, you may be a bit tempted to find a small frog and tip it over just to take a look underneath. However, I can't really recommend this because some of these tiny amphibians can be very deadly. Stone balls of Costa Rica. The stone spheres of Costa Rica, or more simply known as the stone balls, are a collection of hundreds of massive stone spheres that have been found all throughout the country of Costa Rica. They've been found assembled in a number of different shapes, or simply placed seemingly at random, though no one has any idea why they're there or where exactly they came from. It's believed that the first spheres were carved back around the 1st century, but this is very hard to confirm as most of the stones are no longer in their original locations. Over the years, many have been moved and scattered throughout the country, with many becoming popular tourist attractions in the area. Most of the stones measure in at just around 2 meters, with some weighing as much as 15 tons. They're typically formed from giant chunks of rock or salt, with some even being made from limestone. It's believed that they were likely hammered into shape, then polished with sand, but the degree of polishing on the rocks varies dramatically, indicating that they may have all been built during largely separate time periods, with some unfinished spheres having been found on nearby mountains. The strange sphere remained undiscovered until about 1930, when a fruit company began clearing out jungles in the area to use as banana plantations. During the process of this demolition, many spheres were crushed by bulldozers, and some were even drilled into or exploded with dynamite. And some of the workers on site had the strange assumption that they may have been filled with gold. Because of this, a number of the spheres were completely destroyed, and others were greatly damaged, though a handful of them have been pieced back together and put on display at a nearby museum. To this day, no one knows where the stones came from or their purpose. Many people believe they've been created in a nearby long-lost city. However, this is just a theory. The truth is, we have no idea what the purpose of these balls would have been or who would have created them all those years ago. The boiling river. The Mayantuyaco River is known to travel a distance of around 6.5 kilometers, spiraling through the Amazon rainforest in Peru. The river has carved its way through the densely populated jungle, though this isn't anything out of the ordinary. Several rivers are known to run through this same rainforest. What makes this river so unique is the fact that the water it contains is much hotter than the water found in other rivers. If you were to place a thermometer in the water, it wouldn't be surprising if the temperature appeared to be more than 80 degrees Celsius, though there are certain areas of the river that can reach temperatures as high as 100 degrees. Because of this, the river has earned itself the nickname, the Boiling River. Even though scientists have conducted years of research on this river, they still don't know what causes it to run so incredibly hot. In several areas around the world, hot springs can be found deep underground, which lead to the surface water being quite warm. However, more often than not, this water will cool down once it's exposed to the elements and weather. Though in the case of the Boiling River, that simply isn't true. Regardless of its incredibly high temperature, several plants and animals call the river home and, over the course of many years, have adapted to live in the boiling hot conditions. For the indigenous people who live in the area, the river has been a sanctuary for them, with dozens of mystical legends surrounding these unusually hot waters. Zombie mushrooms. If you thought nature was a scary place to be, this final entry will leave you with your jaw on the floor. We all know that nature is a fearless force to be reckoned with. Wildlife all around the world is seemingly begging for the day it can finally take you on, likely leaving you wounded or claiming your life. Whether it's savage animals that want to take you as their next meal, or plant life that can put you down for the count with nothing more than a slight scrape or cut, there's always something in nature that could change your life forever. Though, aside from these obvious threats, there's a much more serious threat that poses problems for ants and small insects in the rainforest: zombie mushrooms, better known as zombie fungus. This strange fungus seemingly has a mind of its own. We don't fully understand what causes this fungus to do the strange things that it does, but this is by far one of the most unbelievable things in the natural world. This parasitic fungus is known to attack the brains of its victims, taking control and forcing its host to give in to its every desire. This fungus can be spread throughout the natural world via spores. Once these spores land on a host, they'll gradually grow until the fungus's thread-like structure grows strong enough to penetrate the body of the victim, with most victims being ants or other small insects. Once this happens, the fungus will work its way to the brain of the insect and begin to manipulate the bug to do whatever it wants. Most often, the fungus will force the ant to travel to the highest point of the nearest tree. Once it gets there, it'll claim the life of the ant, using its body as a place to grow until the fungus can fully mature. Once it matures, it will begin to release spores, each of which is able to grow another version of the fungus and start the process all over again. To this day, scientists have no idea how a simple fungus can be so incredibly smart. We've known for years that mushrooms and fungi are some of the most interesting, helpful, yet dangerous things in the natural world. However, no one could have predicted what this fungus was capable of. What makes things even more eerie is that mushrooms and fungus seem to be ordinary inanimate objects. However, these zombie fungus have proven that the exact opposite is actually true. So far, there have not been any cases of this fungus infecting humans. However, it may only be a matter of time before a real-life zombie outbreak begins. Thanks for watching. Let us know if you happen to know of any strange rainforest mysteries that we didn't cover in this video. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and your suggestions might just make it into a future upload. Also, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more great videos. That's all for now. We'll see you guys next time.